So, ladies and gentlemen, I see that we have really packed it in today, which is awesome. So most of the people in the room are either here to support this event or are leaders representing the soldiers' interests. So I see this honestly, our mayor's program also to help us out here. Thank you so much for being here. But I see this as a tremendous positive that we have done the job that we were supposed to do following this crisis that the Army had coming up on 3 months ago. But we really wanted to go over some things, and we'll still kind of hit some highlights on this, just so everybody understands where we were, what we've done, and then how we plan to progress in the future. And since we don't have a full packed house, there were some ground rules as far as people coming up, asking questions, and how we were going to record everything. We still want to do it in an orderly manner as we go through and people have comments and questions, and of course we're interested in everybody's feedback, whether they be people who are working on the problem or people who are experiencing any issues or problems as well. But I would like to introduce Martin Six to kind of cover some of the initial slides up here. Sir, if you want to just talk us through the first couple of things, and maybe we can get some comments from the leaders.
Okay. Thanks. So as Ken said, really what we wanted to do today was to follow up with the community after our first town hall on our housing, and let everybody know what we've accomplished, and to report back to the community. And then the second part was to continue to educate and arm and equip our community with information and processes to ensure that they were getting the best services possible, to ensure that their homes were in the appropriate state. And then the last thing really was to hear from the community what was on your mind as we continue this process going forward. So that was the intent, and you sort of see what our objectives are with the community, and really kind of what we wanted to focus on tonight. So, and then this is what we've done, and I just highlight the fact that as we conducted the last town hall, we specifically tracked every issue that was presented by a member of the community, and both here and at Fort Stewart, and then we specifically tracked those actions to completion. And I personally approved when those were complete. And part of that was for completion was we acted on that particular event. We consulted with the resident to confirm that they were satisfied, and we did a quality assurance inspection to make sure that our own work from our perspective was done professionally. And so we are prepared to do that again tonight and tomorrow night as we re-engage with our community. All right. Any? I think that was it for our start.
Yes, sir. And so, sir, now we're going to have Balfour Beatty get up and just talk through the app. If we could go through. Next slide. There we go, right there. And JD.
Good evening, everybody. I am JD Miller, the community manager here for Hunter Army Airfield. I got to meet quite a bit of you, especially from the support group leadership here at Hunter. And I do want to appreciate the patience and the transparency that we have gotten through the last 2 months since I've been here. So one of our biggest, I guess one of my proudest moments is actually getting this app launched for the residents here. And I have my assistant community manager, Sika Smith. She's actually going to walk us through it. She's kind of our little rent cafe guru here.
Okay, so you go to the next one. The first thing you'll have to do is you'll need to log on to the website, and it's going to kind of take you through steps. So your very first log in will be from the actual website, and then you can go through, I don't have an Apple, but the iPhone store or the Google Plus store to get the app. Once you've done that first login, then you'll be able to log in from here. You can, basically your username, your password, which you would have already established, you'll enter that. Can we go to the next slide? And so from there, you have different options. You can make your payment online, or you can put in a maintenance request online. So it's basically going to take you step by step. It's pretty easy to use. But if you do need help, there are people in the office who can walk you through it. We also have access, so if you call and you're having trouble, I can go in from my end, and I can kind of, with your permission, go into your account and do that with you, for you, while you're on it yourself. You go to the next one. So this is just an example of the maintenance order. So just from the home, there is, it's like that little hamburger key, I believe it was on the previous slide, but you just click it and you pick what you want, whether it's maintenance or paying a bill, so very, very easy to use. And I actually think that's it. From there, there was one last thing there. When your maintenance request is finished, you'll be able to actually go in and see it on there. So anything that you put in, you'll be able to see what you've submitted from there. But also, if you have any questions, still old-fashioned way, you can give us a
And
call.
the new residents, what are you doing for the new residents as they come in?
As you come in, we're walking you through logging in. So
So
my
you're
team
setting them up as they come through?
Yes, we can. One huge issue in logging in, what I've seen problems with is if you've had a Rent Cafe account before, then you may have difficulty there. But email is very important. So if a lot of people, when you're coming in, you're giving us your work email, but then you go to log in and you're using your personal email, if those emails are not aligned, it's going to tell you that you're having trouble there. It's going to tell you it's not going to work. So if you're running into that, give us a call. It's a simple step. All we have to do is change the email address that we have on file, and then you shouldn't have any problems. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to also mention, if you place a work order through the Rent Cafe, whether it is through your computer or your mobile app, you will get an email stating that you placed this work order, here's your work order number, and then once it's complete, you will also get another email verifying that you're satisfied with the work that was performed. So that's an excellent tool if you use the Rent Cafe.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I was going to ask about this app. Was this something new that was developed in response to this issue, or was it something that was adapted? It seems very helpful.
It was in process, but
Yeah, Rent Cafe has been around for a little bit, but we kind of catered it and tweaked it a little bit more to make sure that our residents are, and it made it a little more user-friendly. Again, like Steve explained, as soon as you get into it, you pretty much have two options. We also can put like announcements on there or any little tidbits that we want to send out to the residents, but for the most part, we try to make it as easy and user-friendly as we could.
Can we attach a picture if there's a maintenance problem of the
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can actually attach pictures, and then like she stated, the emails come through, so again, you're actually seeing that you're getting an actual record that they have been submitted, they've been completed, and then afterwards, you can actually go on and log in at any time, pull up your old work orders, and you can see the technician notes, you can see all kinds of stuff in there.
And there's flyers on the back table there with the step-by-step directions on how you can get that app on your phone. And we actually have a couple laptops back there, so if you want to go ahead and try and set it up while we're here with you, we can do that as well.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, thanks, JD.
Yes, sir.
So the great news about all of this is valuable and beneficial for not just soldiers as they come in here, members of housing, but obviously for us as leaders and mayors. It's good for us because it's part of our job to help educate everybody on these processes and systems so that we continue to have things run smoothly. So everything that everybody can do on the phone or by email or getting on the internet, they can do on the app, right? So let's really push this thing hard as Balfour Beatty is, as folks are coming in to say, hey, let's use this app. It's going to make everybody's life easier. So we went over some of the things that we've already done in the last couple of months since we had this crisis brought to our attention. But we're going to go over a couple of things that we are actually in the process of doing now. And once again, this is great information to pass on to your formations. So requested funding to accelerate the blind replacements in all homes, and that'll also happen as each person changes out, new person moves in. They will replace all the blinds in those houses. Housing cleaning standards policy has been updated. We are developing a new residence guide, which will be out shortly. And then we got some metal roofs that are incoming, and also the housing market analysis. Next slide. So self-help, this is something everybody can go in and say, hey, I ran out of light bulb, I need a new one, and you can get this straight through self-help. You don't have to go out and purchase that stuff. Great thing to educate our soldiers on. Next slide. This is all review from the original information that we put out, but it's important for everybody to know. Next slide on how to submit a work order. There are the phone numbers, and also can be done, as we said, on the app. If we can really push the app, we'll save ourselves a lot of time and trouble. Next slide. This is our work order standards, which is just a review from the previous session. Next slide. This is our easy 1, 2, 3 slide that everybody should have posted on their refrigerator at home that lets them know exactly how to get through the process. Next slide. If those 3 steps don't work, we still have a housing hotline in effect for the time being, so people can call in if they don't get the results desired. Next slide. So for anyone in the room, we're interested in feedback from no matter what mechanism it comes in. I know we already have one Facebook inquiry, which Chris will read aloud and we can engage on. Chris, go ahead.
Yes, so we have received one Facebook query. This one's from Alyssa Larrabee, and it's been addressed previously, but she might not have had the information at that time. So it's, can housing have maintenance, clean vents, and air ducts in the houses? And she's got kids with allergies, and that's the reason why she's asking this query.
Definitely, sir.
Yeah, so just the answer is yes. Just file it in as a work order, right, Bo,
Yes,
JD? And that can be accomplished, so absolutely. Any other questions or comments across the board? Our intent is always to get better across the entire installation, so any feedback would be helpful. Colonel Johnson, you have anything? Not to call you out. Yes, ma'am.
I have a quick question. So the new app that's out, is that something that's post-wide? So you'll be able to keep your same username and password and use it from host to post?
So, Jake, I think there is some issues when you transfer from one post to the other. Go ahead, JD.
Correct. Basically, it follows your email address. So as long as you're a current resident here, you should be able to pull up all your stuff here. Now that's what Zeke was explaining. When you're kind of going from one to another, sometimes we have to go in the back end and clear out the old and bring the new in.
Okay.
So what if you move from a post that's Balfour Beatty to a post that's Corvius? Is that changes then, right? It's no longer
Yeah,
Red Cafe because it's not in the enterprise, is that right?
It really depends on what service they're using, and to be honest with you, I don't know what they're using right now, so I can't really answer for them.
But if you're coming from another post and you have this app already, is that something we need to help you with?
Oh, no, it was just a quick
Okay.
question. So like people who move frequently,
Yes.
if they're with the same community and stuff, would it still apply? So you basically answered.
And we can find out too, also when you're going from Balfour Beatty to Balfour Beatty, if there's still a way to hold up, we can find that out for you. We'll be going back to Colonel Guard.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any mayors? Mayors? Oh, I got one more, I think, from Fantastic World of the Internet.
So this is from Jeffrey Federson, and it's speed bumps are needed in New Savannah in front and behind houses. There's way too much speeding.
So I think that's something we've engaged before, right? And JD, as far as speed bumps?
Correct. And Sergeant Major Wilker. Yeah, we brought that up at the last mayor's meeting, and from what we've discovered, we've not quite seen it beneficial to add to it, but we definitely can revisit that and re-bring it up. At the next mayor's, we can go forward from there.
And so we'll put MPs out, we'll do the study, and then we owe them feedback on the way ahead.
Sir, we actually have placed some speed bumps on the back end where we get occupants to come and utilize the grass area when they bring the kids to school. So sometimes we get individuals coming on that backside. So we have placed speed bumps in that particular area.
So it is absolutely a great comment and something that we will address and relook and make sure we have solid data to support the investment of putting speed bumps in the area. All right. Yes, ma'am.
website, the portal, and the app, because I know a lot of residents before probably January, where they might have received the paper in a move-in packet or just received it, didn't get a chance to look at it, or it got thrown away, and a lot of people didn't know about the portal. And with it being pushed now with the app as well, I think people are seeing that, and it allows for the documentation. Because, you know, a lot of us don't go online to pay rent, because if it comes out of our BAH, we don't look at it, it doesn't come. So we never had a reason to look onto the portal. But now that we know maintenance and all that stuff happens through the portal, it's being accessed more.
No, that's good, and we appreciate the push from all avenues to get that information out there, so that kind of everybody's informed on what the processes are, and we can all be better educated, so. All right, so new attendee, not to go, so we just got through kind of covering the slide deck and everything, but I just wanted, if you have any concerns or questions as far as where we came from, where we're going, I don't want to finish up before I give everybody an opportunity to speak.
No, sir, I looked at all this information previously before I came in. Just ran a little late, but I do have a couple questions that I was going to ask people at the end after everything was all over with. So.
No, go ahead, and you can engage right here. That's why we're here.
Oh man, put me on the spot. All right. So with the new portal for maintenance requests and things like that, we had submitted a few maintenance requests through the portal, but then we kind of had a question as to why would we submit the question or our maintenance requests online through the portal just a way to have somebody call us when we could just call the maintenance line and you know, eliminate that wait and headache.
So you can absolutely do it either way, right? It's just another tool so that we can get people who engage through that medium, right? People who are used to engaging through their apps, their phones, or whatever. But absolutely, you can do it either way. You want to pick up the phone and make the call, JD? Is that right? Just making sure. Okay.
So the real question he asks, I think, is, hey, so why would I just not call up front and waste time putting it in the portal?
Absolutely, sir.
So what is the benefit for putting it in the portal, or is there a response time from your team, Bo, for answering, responding back to the customers if they put it in the portal?
So basically, with the Rent Cafe and Bring It Online, it actually allows you to put in work orders at any time. We don't encourage you, and we really don't want you putting in emergencies on the portal. That's why we recommend you give us a call. But sometimes people get home late at 8 o'clock at night and they got something kind of going on in their house, nothing too important. They'll actually go in and put the work order in quick, that way they don't forget about it. So again, it's just more being able to provide right then and there on your phone. And again, it's just convenient for the residents alone.
Is there a way to do feedback, just as I think through this, right? So if I put one in there at 2000, is there some kind of notification that lets me know that your team has seen it and you're acting on it? Or is it the next feedback mechanism, a phone call from the team?
So actually, once you submit it, you'll get an email stating that you actually submitted the work order. And then after that, we'll have one of our work orders during our normal, as long as it's nothing, emergency-wise. And we do try to monitor them to make sure nothing's coming through that's a life, health, or safety issue. But then what we'll do is we'll actually have one of our work order admins contact you during business hours. We'll schedule it usually the resident's convenience, and we'll go from there.
If he calls in first, just during normal duty hours, calls in, gets you, does it show back, does that work order show then up on the app that's being done, even if I initiated it with a phone call?
We'll have to double check though, but from the directions we got, it usually, from what I was understanding, it doesn't actually show up on the portal if we enter it that way until it's been completed.
Okay, but the history will come in from the work order.
Absolutely.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, what else?
That was it.
Very good. Any last comments before we close out? Absolutely. Yes, please.
Well, the comment that I have is something actually positive. So since we've been having these town hall meetings, the staff has been very attentive. They've been responding in a timely manner. I'm a little bit more happier than I was. So I would just like to say thank y'all for putting in a good effort.
No, we appreciate that. It's always nice to hear positive things, especially as we wrap it up. All right, Colonel Walter, do you have any closing comments? General Quintus, do you have any closing comments?
No, let me just meet with the senior leaders after this and we'll talk through how we'll do this tomorrow night.
Yes, sir, roger that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for being here, both in the support side and the leadership side, to pass this soldiers, information on to your soldiers. We appreciate it.
So Ken, so the only thing I would add is, hey, this will be, this recording will be posted on here along with all the slides, and so if you go back out and people want to see the conversations, or the feedback, we'll post that online and share it along with all the slides, to make it easier to communicate, and then we'll follow up, and make sure that the chain of command's got the follow-up / QAQC for the 3 or 4 questions that we got here, so that everyone else can see the same questions as well.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right, Ken, your reception plan works. Nobody should have.
Beautiful.